friends, it's Carolyn Zook here with Zook Stitch, and today is Saturday, September 23rd, 2023. Welcome to my channel about cross stitch. I'm so glad that you're here, spending part of your day or your evening with me to talk about cross stitch. Happy first day of fall if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. I am all ready. This is my coffee mug today. I have one fall coffee mug, and this is it. And look at the handle. The handle is so good. It's like big, cozy, with a kitten and a pumpkin. I love it. I'm so happy. And you can see I changed the decor behind me as well. So I pulled out some fall and Halloween things. There are a couple of, that's a cross stitch piece that I did a couple years ago. Very, very quick. I did it in one evening. It's like a little cauldron. I know it's kind of far away. I'll maybe bring it up closer to you next time if anyone's interested in seeing a close-up. It's a little cauldron and then a bunch of beads coming out of it like bubbles. So that was fun and very quick to do. And then this one is the little witchy kitty that I did. So yeah, and then I have another piece over, you can't see it, it's over on my fireplace, my electrical fireplace that I recently bought. And it just says Happy Halloween. And it's really, I like it a lot. So, there we go. And then those flowers I got, Thursday from a student who recently got accepted to medical school. So that was very lovely of them. And I thought, hey, they make me happy when I look at the flowers. I bet they'll make you happy too. So I brought them home from work. And I set them in the background so that you can get a little bit of joy and pleasure from looking at those beautiful, beautiful flowers. It's going to rain this week. We are so excited. I mean, like real, actual rain. We have had a very dry summer. Summer is our dry period anyway. But we're expected to get downpour this week. So I'm excited. Obviously, I don't want landslides or flooding or anything like that to happen. But it's the first real rain of fall, and it's like right on time. The weather is definitely cooled. I mean, I think yesterday was 79 for the high. But it's not, it's at that point in the year where the sun isn't quite as high, and it doesn't feel as hot as like a late spring 79 would, if that makes any sense. I know 79 is still 79, but it's just not as hot as long in the day. It's not that the high temperature doesn't hit for as long as in the day, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I need more coffee. I think my allergies have been acting up this week because I felt a little like I couldn't quite tell which direction, like, am I getting sick? Because, we're back to school and, students are getting sick. But it hasn't gone full blown into being sick. So that's good. But I think it's my allergies. So I'm a little foggy. So if you will bear with me. I also got a new iPhone. I'm so excited. My old iPhone, I haven't updated in almost 5 years. So I'm definitely not, like, I don't need the latest and greatest. Well, that's not entirely true. I did buy the latest and greatest for the new phone. But I haven't done that in almost 5 years. So that's very exciting. It is bigger than my old one, which is nice. It's amazing how your eyesight goes over 5 years. I'm just kidding. I have readers. And it's lighter though. It's bigger, but it's lighter. So that was literally just delivered yesterday. So I've been kind of playing around with it and very proud that I figured out how to transfer everything all by myself without any help. I had a friend on standby. I was like, hey, who upgrades, every couple of years or so, she'll upgrade her phone. So it's not like every single year or anything, but she was kind of on standby, and I'm like, I'm going to try it on my own. And I did it. So that's great. And so it's fun to have like a new iPhone, and I'll trade in the old one. So I'll get some money back. So that's exciting. And then the only other thing I think that's coming up is the class that I teach on the side starts this coming week. So I will be busy this weekend. Tomorrow really I've dedicated to getting that class ready. It starts on Tuesday. That is all virtual, all online. But some of you know I have my day job, and then I have a side gig where I just teach for a little bit of extra money. So that's coming up. So we are about to be in the full swing of fall, which, ready or not, here it comes. So I hope you've all had a great week. I know that if you're in the southern hemisphere, I believe your spring will be starting soon. I'm not sure how it works because I think some, and you guys can correct me, some places like the new season will start on the 1st. So southern hemisphere friends, does your spring start like October 1? Is that how it works? Because our seasons, it depends on the sun and the moon, I think. The sun, that would make sense. But the dates can shift each year. So it's not the same date every year, which is very confusing for me. And I was well into my 40s before I realized that it's not actually the same day every year. I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, though, please. Okay, let's get into whips. Again, I'm behind on comments, but I will definitely get to them. But let's talk about whips. So ABC and Go, we are wrapping up. Today's the 23rd. So I have already called. Yesterday I called the letter for today. So we know what we'll be working on today, and then we only have 2 more calls, and then it's over. It's crazy. It went so very fast. But let's take a look at my board because I do finally have some ABC and Go's to show you. So this is my board. So everything that's colored in, I have completed. This box, which is called Day 1, that's why it's outlined, but I haven't completed it yet because I started. What did I start? Home of a Needleworker. That's what I started with Candy. And so I put this off because we still have the 5 days at the end of the month to make up any days that we missed. So I will do a makeup day for that. U is called for tonight, which I'll talk about later. And then it's either F or C for the next few days. But otherwise, I've been able to keep up except for this one, which I kind of had planned ahead, that knowing that I wouldn't be able to do it. So it's been really, really fun, and it's been really fun seeing, this is through the Magazine Monthly Challenge. It's been so much fun seeing people's progress. There was kind of a group of people who couldn't get a AB Singo like until like the last, like I think just this week, and they were talking about, hey, is our prize for the last person to get one? And I'm like, that's not a bad idea. So it's just been really fun, and to see people's progress and people who maybe have kind of been in a stitching funk who have kind of recently come back and said, okay, maybe this will help me kind of find my motivation again, because it's only 1 hour or 100 stitches a day, so it's very doable. So if you are thinking about doing, so it's a bingo game through Magazine Monthly Challenge. They do not have to be magazine pieces. We do a similar one in January called Bringo, but we give you the prompts. So we will be giving the prompts probably around early December. We usually give you the prompts so that you have the month to plan. And in that, there might be a couple that are magazine specific where we'll say, do a new start out of a magazine or something like that. But for the most part, most of them are just any whip that you want. So it's been really fun. I love September for this reason. And I'm coupling my AB Singo with Sampler September. So I'll talk a little bit about that, but let's get into whips. So my 25/7 piece is Thanksgiving Harvest Fairy for this month. Sorry about that, Claire. So this is what she'll look like. Except for the beads in the back stitch, I have the whole top done now, and I'm starting in on her skirt. I am doing 25/7 on this one for just this month. This is on my Year of Whips board as well to finish this year, and I think it will be doable. So this is where she's at. So this is what she looks like. So you can see the blank spaces. Like, she doesn't have a face because I haven't done the back stitch yet. She's holding Droopy Garland, which is all beads. But I finished her wings, so that was good. And now I'm down in her skirt. So, yeah, I think she's definitely able to be finished. I have some spots for her, I think in November, maybe. I can't quite remember. But I think she'll get done. So that's where she's at, and I'm loving working on it. This is really fast. This is the fairy. I have a bunch of these for all the seasons. So the fairies, they go quite fast. But there is a lot of beading. I should speak too soon. The stitching part goes fast. But there are a lot of beads. Like you can see where she's holding. Those are all just beads. It's just beads, beads, beads. I do have a little bit of like leaves to stitch in on over here once I get the skirt done. But yeah, so that's where our Thanksgiving fairy is at. We're gonna put her over here. I also this week has been a big mail week because I also got my 2024 planner that I use, just like my personal and work planner, not my I've had my stitching planner, but my work planner. So it's sitting over on the side waiting to be written in. So it's a very exciting time. Okay, next up, I've been working on Antonia Roselle y Garcia 1886 by Jan Hicks Creates. This is what it will look like. And I am using Victoria Clayton silks. And I chose, there's like the muted colorway and the bright colorway. And I chose the bright colorway. Antonia, so it counted for sampler September. I also had it on my acrostic for this month for Magazine Monthly Challenge. The acrostic is cactus. And I use this for the C for Jan Hicks Creates, the A for Antonia, and the U because it's unfinished, which is kind of a cop-out, but also kind of funny. And then for AB Singo, I used it for the H for Jan Hicks Creates, the A for Antonia, and the U for unfinished. So I have worked on this 3 times, and I'm going to show it to you in a minute. And so I'm going to work on it 2 more times. It's on my AB Singo board. So this is where I am at. So love it. Love it, love it, love it. Let me do like a little bit of a, whoopsie, there we go. Little close up. I love this border. I think it is so pretty. I swapped out, remember last week I was talking about I want a color to swap out to put my initials in. So you can see there's the C, there's the L, and the Z will be in this row. I think it ends up being over on the side more. And I can see how it looks. So I think it's like the Z will be like over here or something like that. So I'll see how it looks. You know, they're just single letters, so if I don't like the way it looks, I can always take them out, and that's a pretty quick fix. And it doesn't mess anything else up around it. But here's where we are. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And let me show you. So this is kind of a little bit of haul, but it's relevant now. So I ordered some so this is done in Victoria Clayton silks. I ordered Soie de J silks to see what color I wanted. So I ordered 3 colors to test. And one I kind of knew wasn't going to work, but it's fun to have in my stash. So one was this pink. This is really hard to hold. So one was this pink, which I think it's a pretty pink, but I think it's just not quite the feel of this piece. Okay. Sorry. I got to cut this fabric down to size. I think it's way bigger than it needs to be, and I have to serge the edges. Okay. And then the other one, so this one is 1022. So it just doesn't quite go, right? And this is 133, also Soie de J. So that one I thought was really pretty. But then the one, I'm using my 614 Stitcher thread tags for this piece. The one that I really ended up doing, which I thought was really pretty, is Soie de J 1724. And it's just this beautiful, deep, it's kind of a turquoise, so there is some green undertones, but it's like a jeweled blue. It's so pretty. So I thought that worked well, especially with that purple in there that's kind of getting into jewel tones. So that is what I went with. Soie de J 1724, I think is going to be my, figuratively and literally, my signature color. So I'll stop moving around for a second. So this I have worked on 3 times, And this is also for Sampler September, of course, because it's a sampler. And I'm going to work on this 2 more times this month. It was called for tonight, I believe. And then 1 more time. Either tomorrow or Monday. I just don't know. So that is where we are at. This, I think I'm putting on my Year of Whips for next year to finish, which is, what's the word? Adventurous? No. I can't remember the word. I might be biting off more than I can chew. It's the word I'm looking for. So you can see I'm right up in here, and I have all that to do. But I've only worked on it 3 days, and I feel like I've made some good progress. This is a reproduction. It's my first reproduction, and so there are mistakes that are charted, right? Charted into it, which is a very good lesson for me in letting go. So you could see like the P touches the A here. That's correct according to the chart, right? Because this is a reproduction. That's how the original was. Some are on different levels. Some are spaced differently. It's a good skill for me to learn to be flexible with that. Let me just tell you. All right. So that's Antonia. Next, I pulled out Twisted Band Sampler for one more day. But this is by Northern Expressions Needleworks. Twisted Band Sampler. I started this with my friend Candy of the 614 Stitcher. And actually, this was my K for AB Singo because I started it with Candy. So I finished up the butterfly row, and I started on this next row of specialty stitches. So I don't know. We are entering the same for Antonia. I don't know what the fabric is. It's a big chunk of linen, and I don't know what it is. I looked. I couldn't find that I had written down the name. The same with this one. This is a color and cotton. I'm sure it's 32 count because that's all I have from color and cotton, but I don't know the name of it. So here's where I'm at. So I finished this row of butterflies here. So I had this one to finish and this one to finish, and then I started in on this row of specialty stitches. These are rice stitches. I don't know if you can see that. It's hard to tell that they're any different than, just regular stitches, and I did a lot better. It was a lot faster to figure this one out than like the starting point of this one. I did have to frog a little bit up here because, again, the pattern is really hard to read with these specialty stitches. They give good instructions on how to do them, so that's not it. It's just there's a light gray and a dark gray, which indicates when you do the specialty row. So it's like every other row is cross stitch, and then the in-between rows are specialty stitches. And when the specialty stitches, depending on what color you're supposed to use, it's either printed in a dark gray, which is easy to see, or a light gray, which is very difficult for me to see, even on the original, because I always make a working copy, and I thought, well, I know my ink is kind of running out, but I like to make it go as long as it possibly can. And so part of my trouble with this first specialty row was it was that light gray, and I couldn't see the lines. This one was a little bit easier, I think, in part because it started with the dark gray lines. So I was able to get that. But anyway, once I got the hang of this, it is enjoyable. It is a good challenge piece for me. It's not fast, right? Especially the cross stitch is fine, but the specialty stitches are not fast for me. So this is right where I am. So I'm not even at the longest rows yet. But it was good for me to kind of get over that hump because I think I was avoiding it a bit because I knew I struggled so much with getting that first row of specialty stitches figured out last time I pulled this out. So again, that was for K on AB Singo because I started with my friend Candy. And that one is now done. I've worked on it 5 times, which is my goal for this month. So that one will go away now. I don't know when it will come back out, but we're over the hump, so that's good. Next up is With the Needle 2 by Lila's Studio. This one I think is gorgeous. I am way over here. So I have all this to do. Oh, that'd be so pretty. Again, this was one that I don't know the name of the fabric. I couldn't find the tag anywhere. It's like a cream. um, almost like a yellow cream. And I have to serge the edges on this one and maybe cut it down, but it might be to size, which is frightening if it is to size. But this is where I got to. So this, I pulled down the border as far, like basically what would fit in my Q snap. Aren't those colors just gorgeous? And then I started on this first square. There are three squares, 4 squares. And so I got a little tiny part of the border and then just the smallest star on the sky. And I basically pulled this down as far as it could fit in my Q snap. It goes all the way to the bottom. But I think, so we've worked on this twice, which is all it was on my 80 single board was twice. But I'm going to work on it 3 more times yet this month to get the full 5 days in for Sampler September. So I think those 5 days, I got to figure out a better way to do this. I got to get those foam boards, I think. I'm going to focus in here and try to get some progress done on that first square. So, and yeah, so this is just gorgeous, gorgeous. I don't know why. This is one of those I had thought about abandoning. But I'm glad I didn't because I looked at it again. I'm like, I just love it. It's just so pretty. So I'm glad I didn't. So you can see where this border goes all the way down, but it's not very, I mean, I'm maybe almost halfway down this way. Not at all that way. It's, what's the stitch count? Yeah, 186 high, but it's 426 wide. So, yeah. There you go. And this was on my 80 single board for W for with the needle and O because I started it in Ohio at StitchCon last year with my friend Jan. I think Jan decided to no longer work on hers and kind of dismantle it, which I think put the idea in my head that like, oh, I could dismantle mine too. But then I looked at it, I'm like, no, I want to keep working on mine. Hers is really tiny too, and mine is much bigger because I can't stitch. 32 count, right? Like I don't really know that I enjoy anything smaller than that. So that was with the needle. And then the last one is Winter Quakers came out. Now, normally this one would be done working on, except I have that one makeup day. So this one came out for I, and I used it for Icy because there are all these snowflakes and it's winter and all that. So this is on my Year of Whips to finish. I have a little thing right there. For this year, I think it's doable. It just needs to be concentrated on. So what I worked on was I worked over here. So I finished this motif, and there's a whole, I don't know if you can see on here, there's a whole bunch of snowflakes all around here. So I only worked on this one day, and then I'll have the one day of makeup yet this month. So here's where we are. And this one, I am using the called for. It is 28 count Pictureless Plus in the color Dwarf. So you can see this one is done. And then I started plotting all these little snowflakes around. So I could hopefully move this Q-snap and start on that next one. So what I'm doing, sorry, I forgot to, so I went down over here because that's where I could reach with this Q-snap. So it looks like, oh, you should be done. Well, no, I'm actually going backwards now. So I have to do this motif, and then I'm done. I think maybe that one too, that little tiny one, which probably isn't so tiny. And then all the little snowflakes, and there's a couple more birds, and I think it's doable. I have 3 months. I think it's doable. I'm using the called for Valdanis. I use them just as they come off the spool. So it's three strands, and I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And this is the last in the series that I have to complete. So that one, like I said, was for Icy. And then I'll make it up for Q for Quakers. So that is everything I worked on. Just a little bit of haul. So I showed you the Swelderje that came in the mail. And then the only other thing that came in the mail was my autumn issue of 2023 Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher, which I will try to do a flip through of maybe this weekend, maybe later today actually. So that's this. I think I have one more issue to get. I haven't decided if I'll renew or not. I love it. I think it's by far the highest quality magazine. But there just aren't as many that I stitch in here because it is a lot of prim. But it's a beautiful magazine, and the pages are high quality, and they don't fall apart, and So I don't know if I'm going to renew it right now, but we have one more issue after this one. So that coming up. That's it. That's all I have for haul. 4 giveaways. I am behind on mailing them out, par for the course. But let's give some more away. Let's give some more away to be behind on. It's the first day of fall, but I'm thinking winter stitching because you need to stitch ahead. So I have 3 charts to give away. Don't say giveaway. Don't say anything that would bring the spammers because they are indeed out there. These are open internationally, so you can be anywhere. I'll ship anywhere. And, make sure I can have your address be 18 or over, or have your parents' permission. So the first one is called Sleigh Bells Ringing. Isn't that cute? This is a World of Cross Stitching. It was like a pattern that I think was inside like a book or something, or came with a magazine. Designer by Jenny Barton. Called for is DMC, that calls for 14 count Aida or 28 count even weave, but you can do it on whatever you want. DMC is called for. There are a couple of skeins that you need 2 skeins of DMC, and there's a couple that you need 3 of, probably for all this, the white and all the background. It is full coverage, but it is 150 high by 130 wide. But you could also get like a white fabric and not do all the snow, just kind of do some of the shading. Or you could get like a dark fabric and not do the night sky if you wanted to save on time. But if you want to receive this one or be entered to win this one, say Santa, because we have Santa in there. I think it's so pretty. There's something similar that I have tabbed in one of my Just Cross Stitch magazines. Very similar. Okay, so this one came from me going through my charts this summer, and I really love it. I saw it made at Acorns and Thread, and it's darling, but I just don't think I'm going to stitch it. This is called Shining Star by Sam Sarah, and it says, "Through the years we will all be together if the fates allow. Hang a shining star upon the highest bough and have yourself a merry little Christmas." Now, I think it's so cute because you could even pull out just these little snowman motifs and make tags for them, out of them. They're very small. Those, what are they, 10, maybe 20 by 20. If you were to just do, that's a really rough estimate. If you were just to pull out these little symbols, 20 by 20, you can make them for gift tags or something. So if you want to receive this, say star. Star. My sticky note is crooked. It bothers me. There we go. And then next up is Winter Samplings by the Nutmeg Needle. I gave away the autumn one or the fall one earlier. So this is the winter version. There's some pulled thread work in there. This is 30 by 84. And if you want to win this, say winter. I got this. This is from 1996. I got this from the freebie table at Stitching in the Wild. So those will be our giveaways for today. So plans. Plans are continuing working. So I will see you next on the 1st, I believe. So, right? Let's just take a quick look. Nope, the 30th. I will see you next on the 30th. Okay, so that's good. So we'll get one more week of Thanksgiving Fairy. We'll be finishing up AB Singo. I'll do that makeup of AB Singo Q. I'm going to give With the Needle 3 more days at the end of this month, the very last 3 days of the month, I think. And then I'm going to be starting Thankful, which is the Jeanette Douglas Blooming Bouquets, which I forgot to pull. So you'll see that next week. But I'm going to give that a one-day start. That is for my friend Karen's birthday, which was the 14th. But I was caught up in AB Singo, and I switched fabrics and this and that and the other. So she said it was okay that I could start it at after AB Singo was over. So thank you, Karen, for your understanding. So that's all I have for you today. I'm going to go out, run a bunch of errands. I have to mow the lawn before the rains come, which is kind of counterintuitive, but it has to be done. So that's my plan for today. Run errands, mow the lawn. If anyone wants to mow the lawn for me, let me know. I'll see you all next week. Bye.